This is Brownie's top 5 returning quarterbacks in the SEC. Walk us through these Browns, and then I want counterpoint from Lance.
I think, you're probably going to get a consensus on those 5 as being the top 5. It's hard to make a case beyond Brady Cook. I put him at number 5. He and Luther Burden together, really, really good combo. Jaxson Dart at number 4. My issue with Jaxson Dart, his numbers pretty good last year, but against the 2 best opponents they played, Alabama and Georgia, he had his 2 worst games. He didn't rise to the occasion. Jalen Milroe started slow and definitely rose to the occasion by the end of the year. I had him at 3rd. Quinn Ewers took a team to the college football playoff. I had him 2nd, and I think Carson Beck is the best returning quarterback in the Southeastern Conference. So they didn't make the playoffs last year. I get that. But Beck is really good, so I had him first. I think those top 5 are going to be most everyone's top 5. The order is going to be different for everyone, but that was my order.
And I wanted to clarify with Taylor. I sent her a text yesterday, and I was like, so it's returning quarterbacks? And
right.
She said yes. So those are, in my opinion, the correct 5.
And you say returning because of Nico and Garrett Nussmeier, those type guys?
Jackson Arnold. I mean, you've got new guys that could be superstars from day one, but those are guys that were actually the starting quarterbacks for these teams. So there's going to be 7 new starting quarterbacks in this league this year. So taking that into account, I think you got the 5 right. I had it a little bit different. I just switched Milroe and Dart.
So you had Dart in front of Milroe.
I had Beck 1.
Right.
I had Ewers 2. I had Dart and Milroe, and they're like interchangeable.
It is close. And again,
and then I had Cook 5.
My only issue with Dart is the 2 times his team needed him the most to play a great game. And listen, that's not all on him. I mean, your offensive line's got to block, receivers got to get open, but the quarterback takes the blame and gets the credit, right? When Jalen Milroe was asked to rise to the occasion, he did.
Okay, but against Texas and Michigan, he didn't.
But he did against Georgia.
No,
they were number 1 in the country.
He did against Georgia, but he didn't against Texas and Michigan, and I don't think he had a great game against Auburn, right, until the final play.
Not a great game. It is remembered now. Maybe not a great passing game.
Do me a favor. Quinn Ewers, who had a great game against Alabama, or at least 2
he's been inconsistent.
Great passes.
He has been.
But he has been inconsistent in big games, too. And, in fact, against the Washington game, they got out early. I think second half against Washington was – did he get hurt, or was he – something happened?
Well, they stopped. I'll tell you what really affected Ewers. They quit running the football. Like Sarkisian put them in an interesting situation because they were gashing Washington on the ground for a little bit. Yeah. And then they kind of abandoned the run. And
24-43, not a great completion percentage, but still 318 yards, a touchdown, no interception. I mean, it's not great, but it's not just horrific.
Yeah, Brady Cook, I was trying to say, man, I was thinking of places that have their best quarterback situation they've ever had. And I was like, it's got to be Brady Cook. And then I started to think, no, Chase Daniel, Blaine Gabbert, Brad Smith. Yeah. Like, I don't even know where Brady Cook, is. And obviously the other guys on this list, Jalen Milroe is not even close to the best Alabama quarterback.
But Missouri may have their best receiver of all time.
Yeah, and Luther Burden. Maybe.
As I look back on this, a forgotten game last year that turned out...
Jeremy Maclin was pretty good.
Yeah, a forgotten game that turned out to be massive in the college football playoff, and might have even gotten Georgia in the college football playoff, was Kansas State at Texas. And you remember, Quinn Ewers did not play in that game. He was hurt. And the backup, I can't say his name, but the backup played. Kansas State had that game won the entire game. And let it go at the end. And that would have been Texas' second loss. They'd already lost to Oklahoma. They would have been out of the college football playoff hunt at that point. And you never know. That might have gotten Georgia in after their loss to Alabama. Malik Murphy, that's right.
What did Ewers do against Oklahoma in that loss?
Ewers in the loss against Oklahoma, 31 of 37, 346, a touchdown, but 2 picks.
2 interceptions.
Yeah, the 2 picks were the key there. Otherwise, not awful numbers.
Yeah, and let me say this. I do think Carson Beck is the most talented of these guys. I think he will separate himself this year.
And he was the most consistent on that list.
But the other 4, I mean, I could put them really in any order.
Yeah, I agree with you guys.
I think Dart and Milroe are going to have better years. And I think Ewers probably will as well. It's a challenge for Beck to have a better year. Maybe he will. I'm not saying he will not, but I think he was the best of that group.